Hey there. As promised, I have returned to you all for some generous chair sitting and storytelling. Topic du jour is how I came to find myself in the fandom. But first, to preface, the story I'm about to tell was written on my second to last voyage somewhere between Hawaii and Portland, Oregon. We had gotten underway to the southeast of a low that was located to the north of Oahu that was causing some significant seas in the eastern Pacific. It was a tough call whether to stay in Pearl Harbor until it passed and risk needing to postpone the Columbia River bar pilot pickup time, or to leave and stay ahead as best we could. So we left and made the best speed possible. We faced about 15 to 20 foot seas and 30 to 60 mile per hour winds. Significant, but tackled easily enough though. It did help with the ride slightly that we were headed into the seas. It was also detrimental to our speed. We were turning 80 or so shaft RPMs, which would normally make 15 to 16 knots, but we're only able to make speed over ground of about 9 to 11 knots, so a pretty significant drop. To place that in perspective, here is a short video clip of us sailing through the thicker weather. As you can see, it was not comfortable, but I've definitely had worse. We made it through just fine, of course, picked up the Columbia River bar pilot on time via helicopter and proceeded inbound to Portland, where the current pandemic was about to change our lives. But that's something we are all familiar with at this point. So if you're currently in the fandom, then you likely grew your furry roots in the same places I had. Predominantly Disney movies like Robin Hood, Looney Tunes, maybe, that Adventure from Bedknobs and Broomsticks, no? Anyone? And of course, Zootopia. Major influence for me personally was Dragonheart. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend you do so, since it's a dragon voiced by none other than Sean Connery. Need I say more? All the aforementioned characters and many more are things that I enjoyed when I was younger. But as I grew older, I ended up pushing myself to grow up faster and be more mature than I honestly should have been. Anything I deemed as childish or what mature adults should not enjoy or take part in, I repressed and, well, ignored. Cut it all out of my life, a theme that I would carry with me well into adulthood. I first remember discovering the fandom about the end of high school and thought it was different and a little cool. But I still pushed forward with being mature and serious. Shortly after this, I came across the negative press and stigma surrounding the fandom, including how most people viewed furries. And it was at this point that I simply barred it from ever being in my life. Fast forward to my career as a sailor. Still me being very mature and repressing things that I would have enjoyed in order to keep in line with society's views on how I should be, which was not healthy at all. So it's the end of 2019, moored in San Diego, and there I was surfing YouTube, and a video pops up. FYI, I've never searched for anything furry at all. It was a reaction video to none other than Furry Apocalypse. Once I watched that, the video suggestions began to change. Plus, my curiosity peaked, and I had begun to let the natural course of things take place and start digging. I found Picari Roo, Stormy Funk, Fluke, Artemis Wishfoot, Telephone, oh my god, Telephone, and Telephone, now Hyena, to name a few. I could not get enough of furries at this point. I was hooked for good. I'm sad to say, I was actually embarrassed to be enjoying it, because the old me was holding on for dear life. From there, I found Furry Amino, and by some miracle, a fur in San Diego Furries found me there, introduced me to Telegram and the San Diego Furries group. The next meetup I could make it to was January 4th, 2020. I was going. I found the group in Balboa Park and proceeded to sit on a bench, awkwardly playing with my phone, not 30 feet away from everyone for about half an hour. I know. I observed passers-by as they wondered what was going on with these odd costumes and biding my time until I mustered the courage to walk over. The time had come. I had stalled for long enough. I went to meet those I had spoken with for weeks, and whom had also helped me through a couple of difficult times around the holidays. I was awkward and overwhelmed, but I had an absolute blast. I had not smiled that honestly in years. But on that day, I knew I wanted to be more invested in fandom. It was that day that broke a good decade or so of unhappiness in my life. I have the San Diego Furries to thank for so much. Had it not been for them and their kind, welcoming ways, I would not be talking to you at all right now. I would not have ended up accepting myself for not being straight, and I would not have stumbled across the most amazing person I've ever had in my life. If there's anything to be taken away from this video, it would be do what makes you happy, not what others think you should be in order to fit in. Be yourself, and especially do not grow up too fast. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the time. Heck, always stay young inside. Don't do what I had done by staying bottled up to fit what you think others should see you as. You will only be hurting yourself in the end, and it's never too late to realize these things. I know this video was long and a bit drawn out, but it was something that I think needed to be said, and it is a story that is highly significant for my life. If it were not for the fandom, I would not be who I am today. Anyway, I have some editing to do, so until next time, stay safe, be happy, and of course, be yourself.